tire. That's about all it needs. Oh, such a fun part of a project, putting the stuff back on. New back tire. And brake is in place, just so I can roll it up the ramp here and get it ready for install. That'll do. It's all nice and shiny. Spacers and the axle are greased. The little bit of a wrestling match there is to put a wheel back on. So we have it in place. I'm going to take a block, slip it under there somehow. There we go. Oh, actually, that's pretty darn close. That block worked out pretty good. All right, so now we're in the neighborhood. All right, so first thing, that the wheel is in place, is we want to make sure that the final drive chain is back on the rear sprocket. Good enough. And then look at these spacers, see if they're the same. I forget which is which. Yeah, like so. And then this one over here. I know you can't see this side. I'm just babbling, but oh yeah, that looks about right. Okay. So there are two spacers / axle carriers. The shorter one goes on the drive side, on the left side. Not all of the installation of the rear axle and spacers made it to recording because there were swear words, all of them. Because when I put the wheel on and I slipped the chain over the final drive sprocket, it was sagging way down. And I realized that in my final bit of cleanup, with the wheel off, cleaning up the chain, it had slipped off of the primary drive sprocket. And so I initially looked at this and thought I would have to pull off this shifter linkage and this engine cover, and I was really bummed, but I managed to take off the chain guard and somehow get in there. The wheel was off. I stuck my head underneath the fender and I could see in there enough. There's no way to get a shot of it to get the chain back over the sprocket. It came off with everything on, so I was going to put it back on, and I did. And it took a while, but boy, was I glad. I did not want to go through taking all this off to access that. So I pulled that off. But that's why all that wasn't filmed. But nothing too exciting here. The axle's through. And you got the one spacer there. Got this one here. Now, to finish buttoning up this back wheel installation, we're going to start with the brake arm. So everything is loose. The chain adjuster's loose. The axle bolt is loose, and we start by putting on this spring right here, and this retainer deal here, not retainer, whatever you call it, that thing, and screw this on. So, I'm just going to finger tighten everything now, including the chain adjusters. I think it's centered and has kind of a pointy end to this, and it sticks into the block there. And even with my fingers, if you can see this, look how easy this changes here, watch. See how much movement that is? All right, I'm good with this so far. We're going to talk about this adjustment angle too, right here. If it's more than 100 degrees, then your shoes need to be relined. All right, it's time to adjust the proper tension in the drive chain. And a key component of that is these marks, the marks on this chain adjuster on the right side, same thing on the left. And then this will help you get these lined up with some marks that will be the same on each side. Like so, with a goal of having about 3/4 of an inch tension in the chain. So that's more than 3/4 of an inch. And it's actually supposed to be with the rider on it. So I'm going to guesstimate for the moment. I'm not breaking out a tape measure. It's fairly taut. I've done it before. So I just want to get in the neighborhood. And it'll be fine, and then we'll fine tune it when it comes off the ramp. But so we're going to start with looking at the wheel. And does it seem centered up and lined up? That's spinning pretty nice. All right, that seems straight. The chain looks straight. I got down there and looked. It appears to be running nice with the primary drive sprocket. And then now let's see where we're at here. So I think I want to pull a little more tension on the chain. I'll literally just pull the wheel back a little bit. And that puts this just forward of 2. And that's back a little bit, so we can actually just twist it a little. And I'm going to back off the chain tensioner a little. And now we have that just forward of 2. So we'll still like this over here. So as I'm screwing this in, you can see the chain tightening just with my fingers. See that? Oh. Alrighty. Check to see if it's spinning all right. It looks centered. closer to 3. Tension looks all right. And that's a little closer to 3. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will lock these down. With these lock nuts right now. Just for 3. Oh, I'm sorry, just behind 3. And this is just behind 3. And also just behind 3. So I'm just going to hand tighten down this lock nut here for the moment. So when you sit on it, actually, the springs will compress and the wheel will roll forward a tiny bit, and it actually will loosen this up a little bit. That's probably always going to be good. I mean, if you were on the road without a tape measure and you had another 1,000 miles to go, I'd be good with it. And then give it a spin. It's nice and quiet. Okay. Well, the chain adjuster lock nuts are the first thing you tighten up. And that is just behind 3. And that is just behind 3. Lock nuts are tightened up, so these blocks are properly in place. And then we'll give it a spin. And it's spinning nice. A little bit of side-by-side action, and the reason is it's brand new. So ride it, it'll settle in. 300 miles, and it rounds itself out. And then the next thing is the brake stay. Got this special bolt here, and on the back side of this drum, there is another ridge for it to lock into, and that way you don't have to have a wrench on the back of it when you're tightening everything up. So there it is in place. Now the thing I figured out with this, because I'm not exactly sure how it is from the factory, but it looks to me like it needs a spacer. So I found one. Then we put on the stay. And then this washer, which goes over the wider diameter part of the bolt, brake stay bolt. Tighten that down. Oops. And we tighten it up till it's tight. And then I got this little pin here. Done. Then I always give it a spin. Looks good, so there's that. Next we adjust the brake, which let's push this in. Let's start there. So I push this in, and just keep turning this. Okay, excuse the reach. I'm gonna press the brake here and see if it. Yeah, it's gonna do it more. That feels pretty good. I'm gonna go just a tad more. So to tighten up the axle nut that is castellated, so it's got a hole in it for a cotter pin. Starting over here on this side, the way we stop it from turning is just stick a screwdriver there and hold it. Why we tighten up this side. Hopefully you can tighten up with a 10-inch Keystone steel forged crescent wrench from who knows what year. All the way from Buffalo, New York. Works just fine. And then that's going to go here. And the truth is I already tightened it, so it's already where I want it to be. Which is tight, nice and tight. There's not a torque on it, I looked. And then one more turn so that it's tighter and the hole is available for the cotter pin. Like so, and that it spins nice. It's good. If they're over tightened on some bikes, you can sort of squeeze the bearings together and it'll make the wheel drag, but this is fine. And it's tight. And then we will pull this back correctly, which is over the facing side of the nut. Trim it so it doesn't extend over, and then peel back the underside. Continuing on with the proper cotter pin installation, and we'll tap it a little bit. We bend this part back, nice and tight. And roll it back. Press it right up against the top of the axle. And then same with this one. We're going to roll it back. Nice and tight. Oops, sorry, wiggle the camera on you. There you go. Well, I am declaring this part of the preservation restoration done. I think we got chain tension here. It's supposed to be 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, we'll see. Back tire on, spins nicely. Brakes work. The thing I have to do is I have to get some 4-aught steel wool and touch up inside there. Look at that. That's, yeah, I just sort of missed that. So why it's in the light, we gotta make it right. Besides the inside of these hubs, which need a little more detailing, more so on this side. That's not acceptable. So that needs to be finished up. And then I was just looking at this whole rear end here. You know, this swing arm needs to be cleaned up a little more. Maybe a spritz of some paint, and same goes with this. There's something to be said for cleaning the hub in situ on the axle. On the 400F, here is the left side cleaned up with some compound and the Dremel wire wheel to shine these bits back up. And I just need to insert this cotter pin. And the back end of this bike is done. Done. There we go. So, I like it. Better. Way